Greetings and salutations. I'm America's R&B historian, Tyrone Dubois. And my friends, you're watching the one, the only, The Cindy Davis Show.
I'm Cindy Davis Evans of The Cindy Davis Show. My guest today went from shooting people to shooting documentaries. He is a reformed criminal and award winning journalist and documentary filmmaker. He tells a story of survival, forgiveness, and reconciliation. Here to talk about his new documentary feature, Killing Beef, Gun Violence in the Black Community. Welcome to the show, Mr. Samson Styles. Thank you for joining me today, Mr. Samson.
Oh, I appreciate the invite. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Yes, yes. So I guess we just kind of wanna start out with how did you get started in the film industry?
Um, it's funny because I had no idea that I wound up in the film industry. I came home from prison in 2004, and 4 months after I came home from prison, I started shooting a documentary on some girls that fight in the underground fight club.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing it to basically make DVDs and sell the DVDs and then come back and do follow-up with the fights with the girls and stuff. So I was thinking short term. And amongst, when I started shopping the trailer, I ran into Nelson George. And Nelson George seen the trailer and let me know that he had his friend, his homie, was the president of BET at the time, who was Reginald Hutland.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so he brought me to Reginald Hutland and to BET, and they wanted to do a deal for the documentary, and then they also wanted to keep me on and put me in the news department to become a correspondent straight from the streets. So that's like something that only God could write that script, because I ain't have nothing to do with it.
I love it. I love it. That's right. Glory to God. Glory to God. But you have a backstory. Wow. Tell us about your backstory. You grew up on the streets and was arrested at 11, and you've seen a lot of violence and was victim to a lot of violence. Tell us about your backstory.
Well, my backstory is basically normal, unfortunately, for most people that's growing up in, deprived communities, Black deprived communities. So it was a lot of crime. I got engaged in crime at an early age because of the environment. So, I grew up in a 2-parent household, and I was taught the right things to do, but every time I went outside, I seen the wrong things were being glorified. So, I fell victim into basically getting involved with all the streets had to offer. So I started picking pockets at 11, and, my arrest record started, and then that gradually, elevated to me being all the way in crime, whatever it took, stick-ups, robberies, selling drugs, and, and everything that comes with that. So,
Wow.
And it was a cycle that seemed like it was tough to get out of, because people think it's easy once you're in it to stop, but it's not.
Why is it so hard to get out?
Why it's so hard to get out is because 9 out of 10, you're not going to school. You're not acquiring these degrees or whatever that makes you qualified to go out into the workforce. 2, you start getting accustomed to a certain amount of money, and a regular 9 to 5 with no education isn't going to cut it for you. And you assume responsibilities that you have to pay on, and you relying on this illegal means to be able to fund that. And then it's like you just get to a place that seems like it's never ending, and like at a dead end. It's like being at a dead end job, and you have to work to pay these bills, but you're not going to elevate any further than that. So, you know, with the drug game, it's similar. You're in a system that's basically, it's not for you. You always have to put somebody else's name on leases, cars, you know, whatever it is. You're like invisible, and it's hard to come out from that. You know, it's hard to get out from that rabbit hole.
Yeah, yeah. How were you able to break free from it?
One of the ways I wound up breaking free was to go to jail and come out and have to start over from zero, right?
Oh, wow, yeah.
So that broke that cycle, and then me being given the opportunity to do something that I love and to get paid for it. So once I got that opportunity at BET, they brought me into the news department as just an on-air correspondent because, you know, I was more edgy. They liked the street appeal, and it made it credible. If I was talking about incarceration or doing a piece on reentry or gun violence, I'm credible. I'm that credible messenger that could deliver that message and give a perspective that, you know, that was unique. So they used me for that. But while I was there, I started learning all the facets that go into TV and filmmaking and producing. So, you know, I started being the first one there and the last one to leave. And I made sure, you know, I acquired all the knowledge that I could so that I could sustain. And I was there for 10 years. I watched so many people come and go, but, you know, I created a lane that was valuable for them to keep me for those 10 years because that was a pretty long time to be, you know, at a network, just one network.
Yeah, well, I tell you, congratulations on that. That really is, you know, really incredible to have a mindset when you got out of prison to have a goal.
Yeah.
So many people go back and forth to prison and they never get any breaks or they never get a change of heart or a change of mind. What do you think helped you to change your mind?
Well, I'm going to say this. Most people that's in prison, they don't plan on going back and they don't plan on continuing crime, right? Then everybody have a plan in there that they're going to do the right thing when they get out. But what happens, reality sets in. Those doors are being closed, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're not going to be able to fit into the real world like they thought. They might have taken certain classes in jail that they say, oh, when you get out, this certificate will get you, you know, will help you get a job. And it doesn't. You can have all the certificates in the world. You come out, you go to a job and say, yo, I was in jail. I learned electrical. This is, you know, my certificate. And they don't care about that, you know?
Wow, that's a shame. They don't even recognize that. However, I do want to point out that there are some services and nonprofit organizations that do cater to men who wants to reform their lives.
Yes. Yes, I'm doing work for a few of those corporations right now as we speak.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. I help train some of the youth that they call at risk in documentary and filmmaking. I'm also on the board, the chair of the board of the Brownsville Think Tank Matters, which is a nonprofit organization that deals with, you know, the causes, effects, solutions to gun violence, that deal with job, you know, employment, job readiness, training, and also Man Up Inc. Also, I teach children with them, and they're also on my documentary, Killing Beef, Gun Violence in the Black Community. And I also do some work for Good Shepherd with their kids. And these are all like alternative to incarceration programs or at risk or people from, you know, deprived communities. So that's my way of giving back and plus staying sharp at the same time.
I love it. Love it. You know, so you were the consultant producer for the network series, Crack Cocaine. Was it a documentary?
Yeah, it's a documentary.
Yeah, it's Crack Cocaine, Corruption, and Conspiracy.
Right.
So what was that like? Why did they choose you? Did you live through a lot of the crime?
Right. So what happened? The executive producers, one of them knew about my background, and I also worked under him while I was at BET for a while. He was one of the producers. So they called on me to help with the project. And first they wanted me to just be interviewed. And then they discovered that, you know, I was much more valuable than just being someone to be interviewed, and that I knew a lot of intricate details from the dealer's perspectives and from the street perspective that they didn't want to leave out. So then they brought me on as a consultant producer. So with that, when you see the street elements that exist within that documentary, most of that was by them giving me the leeway to go ahead and tell that story.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, God is good.
God is good. God is good. And so with BET, you was able to go on red carpet and do interviews with celebrities and all that as well, right?
Yeah. I didn't really like that too much, though. I didn't like the celebrity aspect, you know, really, because sometimes, but it was a good training ground because it showed me that, you know, how to do journalism from different perspectives, not just investigative reporter, beat reporting, red carpets, you know, so I had to be fully equipped. So that was good to put under my belt because I know how to coach somebody else how to do it. But my thing wasn't so much, you know, when your record coming out, and I'm not like a gossiping type of brother. So that was like,
oh, you was kind of out of your element.
Right. But, you know, I was able to do it though, you know.
Yeah, I bet you met a lot of cool people.
Yeah, even my favorite, Stevie Wonder, that was the best interview I ever had.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah, I've been rocking with Stevie since I was knee high to an ant.
Yeah. Everybody I interview say that Stevie Wonder is the number one that celebrity that they are so in awe about.
Yeah.
There's something about him. He's just classic. He's just classic. There's a picture on your Facebook page I saw with you and Cicely Tyson, Vanessa Williams, Blair Underwood. What was that about? Well, tell me a backstory about that. Where were you? What were you doing?
Well, we was going to interview them for I think it was a play or film that they all went in. I'm sorry if I can't remember the name of the film right now. But we went there to interview them, and I had my intern with me. And that was beautiful to see that Blair Underwood, Vanessa Williams respected Miss Cicely Tyson so much that when I got there, you know, they said, look, don't call her Cicely. You know, she don't say that. Her name is Miss Cicely Tyson, right?
Okay.
I said, I wouldn't think of calling her anything else, you know? So when she met me, it was like, it really was like a connection from the door. Like when she seen me, you know, her eyes kind of lit up. And this is my first time seeing her. So I grabbed her hands with both of my hands. I grabbed one of her hands and I bowed my head and was like, you know, this is an honor meeting you. And, you know,
absolutely.
Yeah. And, you know, I grew up watching her, you know, always in dignifying roles. So she, you know, when we went to take that picture, she scooted right up under me. And
I saw that. Yeah.
I got like, she gave me a sense of like, yo, we family, we good.
Yeah,
you know, like,
absolutely.
That held me for the whole month after that interview.
Where were you? Where were you at? There.
There we were, I think in a hotel somewhere in Manhattan.
Oh, okay. You got a hotel. Okay.
Kiki Palmer was there also. She was on another floor though. I interviewed her also that same day. So I think it was some film that all of them are in together.
I see. So with your success, how did your peers accept you? Did they diss you or what?
No, never that. They was proud, you know, they was proud because, mind you, I just left prison, you know, a few months prior to them seeing me on BET, like maybe less than 2 years later, they see me on TV.
Yeah.
So a lot of them, they said that they were inspired. Like one time I was doing an interview, I was on the streets doing man on the street reporting, and I was interviewing somebody, and this dude that I didn't know, he walked up to me, he said, yo, he said, were you in Fort Dix? Yeah, he said, was you in Fort Dix? And I said, yeah. And I didn't remember him. I was trying to look and see if I could remember him. He said, no, you wasn't. He said, you left by the time I got there. But every time you came on TV in the day room, everybody lost it. They was like, yo, there you go, there you go. He was just here, da-da-da.
Yeah.
So, and he said, that's how I heard about you, you know? And he said, I just wanted to let you know that I'm proud of you and you helped give me hope that we can, you know, we can make it once we leave out. So a lot of people,
bravo.
yeah, a lot of people that are incarcerated, you know, they definitely looked at this as, yo, if he could do it, I could do it. And I didn't do it as becoming a rapper,
of course,
or doing sports,
yeah,
or doing something that I kind of had to like debo my way and doing some type of security, or they like, oh, they paying Samson, you know, to make sure they secured. It wasn't nothing like that. It came in through journalism and hard work and being able to tell our stories and to be appreciated amongst not only them, but also my journalist peers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it definitely was rewarding on a whole nother level that I couldn't imagine.
Absolutely. Wow. I bet they are so proud of you. That is good news. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you ever think that you would be doing films, producing films and things of that nature? Did you ever in your wildest dream think that would be your journey?
No, I was concentrating on music, you know, because I always did music when I was younger. So I thought it would be music, but
yeah,
through my music, I always was like a storyteller. I didn't just, you know, write about anything. My music always had to have, you know, it always had to have some type of consciousness to it, some type of social awareness, you know, and so being a filmmaker is the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's telling the story, being able to tell the story correctly. So I already had knowledge of that, but now it's just putting the visuals with the writing. So it kind of fell in my lap. It was like a marriage that God knew, that only God knew would work.
Absolutely. So your new documentary, Killing Beef, why the title, Killing Beef?
Well, killing beef is a double entendre, right? Because when you say beef,
yeah,
it's a conflict. It's not. We're not talking. It's not a vegetarian documentary. You know what I'm saying? But or animals' rights documentary. It's about beef, which is conflict, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And killing beef can be either to dissolve the conflict, or it could be to heighten the conflict that it becomes. Now killing is involved because it is beef. Mm-hmm. So we use it both ways. Killing beef is like beefs that ends up with someone being murdered or violently, you know, attacked, or it could mean squashing the beef, you know, resolve the issue, you know, dissolve it. So that's why killing beef. But I put gun violence in the Black community so that people will understand what it's about.
Yeah. So tell us about the documentary.
Well, the documentary has been done over the course of 10 years. It started in 2008 and we finished it in 2018.
It started in 2008?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's about the causes, effects, and solutions to gun violence, using my own story as a thread to tell a bigger story that's happening nationally about gun violence, as far as where do it start in our community? Why is it so, you know, why does gun violence permeate our communities? And you know, what's the solution, right? So use my own experience of being shot 5 times and wind up connecting with the person that actually shot me. And we killed the beef. We killed our beef and then went on to try to, you know, give our story to these youth that's in this detention centers, that's in, you know, alternative to incarceration programs, and the schools, to share our story in a way that will wake them up, have them have conversations, have them think about, you know, their lives. Because the more you understand why things are happening, the more reason you will have to deter from that situation when you have the knowledge of the deprivation of, you know, of knowledge and and resources, and not to just make up excuses, but even the mindset that permeates in these communities, right? That when you go to school and good grades and be a nerd, you're being ostracized, you're being picked on, you're being bullied on, right? And but meanwhile, the cats that's doing the bullying and the ones that's misbehaving and that's even getting left back are being praised, right? Even to the day, you know, I did 7 years in prison. I come home, people glorify that. Somebody else from the neighborhood go to school, get a master's degree in that 7 years. They come back, they overlooked, right? So so our thinking too has a lot to do with the mindset that help perpetuate this violence. So, you know, all of this is in the documentary, and it's not just like talking. I mean, it's not like I'm just talking at you. We have people that's everyone from students to police officers to teachers, you know, people in academia that's high up to lawyers, DAs, people that was in the street life, criminals, people that did mad time in prison, all of everything that basically, you know, encompasses this gun violence is being exposed within this documentary, within the hour and 12 minutes that we had.
Wow. So Smoke actually shot you, is that correct?
Yeah, he's one of the guys that shot me. It was two people that shot me that day.
Yeah. But you reconciled with him. How did that come about? How were you able to reconcile with someone who shot you?
Well, not to give too much away, but it's
okay. Yeah, I know you don't give too much away.
It's definitely in the documentary. But the thing was, when he came home, though, we both were on guard. You know, when he came home, I was already at BET. I'm not at BET now. I have my own company. My wife and I, we have our own production company. I left BET.
That's right. Oh, okay.
2016, I left BET. And, or was let go from BET. And so it's been 5 years now, 5 years that I've been independent. And since then, so this documentary is on my independent, you know, one of the independent releases from our company, J City Enterprises. And so when Smoke came home, we both were on edge. I had a lot going for me. I didn't want to, you know, jeopardize that by doing something to him. But I would defend myself if I had to. And he felt the same way. He just coming home. He don't know if I'm going to send people at him or, you know, whatever. Yeah. So he contacted a mutual acquaintance. And that mutual acquaintance spoke to me and then spoke to him and got us to speak to each other. And this is part of resolving beef, which we show in the documentary. This is how it has to be done. Other people have to get involved, people that are reputable and that has, you know, respect in the communities. They know who's beefing with who. And if they have some type of influence, they have the power to basically decrease that, you know, decrease that violence by speaking to this one, speaking to that one. You know, not saying it works all the time, but it is effective.
Yeah. Okay. What are your thoughts about George Floyd? Did you see a lot of that brutality?
Yeah, I couldn't watch it. I never did watch that. I only see what the media shows. I never went and watched for that 8 minutes and 40. I never sat and watched that. I didn't want to. I didn't want to ruin my spirit with that. But I think that, well, we know that's been going on in the communities forever. It's just shed a light to other people for them to see what's been going on and what we've been marching and complaining and yelling and screaming and scratching and biting and burning down towns about, right? Now they see why, right? But we already knew.
Right.
And the thing that about this case is that surprisingly, the police aren't trying to back them in this, right? It's hard to, you know, how are you gonna try to justify that, right? So, you know, he may, if the cop gets sentenced, I'll be surprised. You know, if he's treated accordingly, like how someone else should be treated, I would be surprised. But I think that we have a long way to go, and that this could be the spark that kind of changes policy and changes the way that we are handled. And even this is off the subject, but even how the Asian people are being treated right now, right?
Yeah.
You know, I'm not for brutalizing or, you know, bullying anybody or oppressing anybody, but a lot of people, they come to this country and they look at us and they look down, you know, and they join with, you know, what they think is right, because they're not being targeted as we are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, so that's when you have, you know, a Korean shop owner shooting a little girl in the head and then getting away with it, you know, and just getting probation. You know, that's when you have the few even caring about Black Lives Matter, getting out there marching or whatever, because they feel that's your problem. You know, we prospering. I don't know what's wrong with you guys.
I see.
A lot of them come in our neighborhood and, you know, they open up stores and shops and talk down. I mean, that's what I noticed here, and I know in Cali, you know, and maybe now they could get to see, you know, how being mistreated feels, because now they want Black Lives Matter to get on board. They want, but when we was marching and fighting, we didn't see y'all on board.
They weren't involved. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, not to talk down, but sometimes you have to experience something to understand, like, okay, wow. And, you know, and there's so many other elements too, as far as redlining, government assistance and how that works and how it excludes certain people and then, you know, be beneficial for some other people. All that's in our documentary as well too.
Yeah. I can see you doing that one too.
Yeah.
Much needed. It's much needed.
Yeah. You know, so I sympathize with them. And I have a lot of people that I love dearly that are I call them, you know, Blasians, right? That, you know, they have Asian in the family and Black. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they caught in between, and, you know, but generally speaking, for the general, you know, for the general population of Asians in America, what I experience a lot is that, you know, they don't seek to understand what we go through. They may look to just, you know, come and get the American dream, and then America looks at us a certain way, so they just follow suit and looks at us at that same, you know, in that same manner.
Wow.
What do you think about it?
That's a fact. You're right. That's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what can you tell young people? What's your message to the youth? What are some of the things that you actually teach them? Well,
I teach one thing: to follow your passion, follow what you're really passionate about doing, and create a business out of that. Do it to your best ability, because once you start getting paid doing something that you love, it's not even work anymore. That's a blessing.
Yeah.
Most people are in a job that they don't like.
Yeah.
Another thing I always tell them too is to remain themselves. Be yourself. Don't change or conform for anybody. If you're a nerd, accept that. I mean, that's a title, nerd. But you know, if you like being an introvert and you like reading and you like, you know, the stuff that you like, that's what you know, own that and don't feel bad about that. You know, be comfortable in your skin. Be comfortable with who you are, because some of the problems that existed when I was younger and that caused me to get into trouble was me not accepting who I was. You know, I'm a nerd, but you know, I like nerdy stuff.
Yeah.
But that wasn't cutting it growing up in pink houses and in Brownsville and Brooklyn. You know, that wasn't cutting it. So I conformed, and then I'm an extremist, so I conform to the extreme. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, to get back to myself, you know, I was almost hitting 40, you know, when it came time to be like, hold up, wait, slow down, you know, and take a breath and come back to your essence.
Yeah. Well, you look very young, youthful.
Thank you. And I'm 52.
You're 52?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
would never have guessed that.
Thank you. I'm getting some grades now.
Well, I want to congratulate you on all of your success. We look forward to your future projects.
Thank you.
Killing Beef coming out. That's coming out on Apple TV.
It's out now. It's out now. It's on Amazon Prime. It's on Apple TV. It's on Fandango. It's on Xbox, Voodoo. It's like all over the place. So you can't find it. Just Google Killing Beef, gun violence in the Black community.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for
you.
sharing. And congratulations on everything that you're doing. And, you know, just continue to make us proud.
Thank you. And thank you for having me too. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. Well, we'll be in touch. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, Doc.
Thank you for watching the Cindy Davis Show. Until next time, God bless.